The latest rallies and protests have been largely peaceful as thousands of people challenge systemic racism and police tactics in Canada and the United States. In Toronto, police took a knee at City Hall as demonstrators looked on, erupting in applause. There were other marches and vigils as well, and this is what it looked like in Calgary as people there honored George Floyd and others.
Enough is enough. Yes, all lives do matter, but right now it's about us, and Black Lives Matter!
Black Lives Matter. It shouldn't have to be said, but it still does. 7 years after that phrase first emerged on social media. But is it something different happening this time? It started in 2013 as a hashtag, the moment George Zimmerman was acquitted of the murder of Trayvon Martin. Martin was just 17 years old, walking home after buying Skittles when Zimmerman shot and killed him. Then in 2014, the message leapt from social media to the streets of Ferguson, Missouri, and beyond when a police officer shot and killed 18-year-old Michael Brown.
Hands up! Don't shoot! Hands up! Don't shoot!
At that time, polls suggested more than half of Americans believed protesters in Ferguson were going too far. The Black Lives Matter movement kept pushing. Year after year since then, sometimes with very little coverage, hundreds of thousands of people kept repeating the same message, kept fighting to end centuries of racial inequality to bring us to this point.
We need everybody to come together. This is a revolution. We need change. We need the change now, and we cannot wait. We need it.
So is a change coming? A new Reuters poll shows the American public overwhelmingly supports these protests. That's certainly a shift from 2014. And here's what Barack Obama said this week, describing what he's seeing right now.
You look at those protests, and that was a far more representative cross-section of America. There is a change in mindset that's taking place, a greater recognition that we can do better.
The reach of social media and how it's being used by activists is a key part of that. Mark Lucky has been watching this movement unfold and build since its inception. He's an author and a journalist. He's also a former manager at Twitter and Facebook. And Mark is joining us from Atlanta, Georgia. Hi there, Mark, and thank you so much for making time for us.
Thank you for having me.
What do you think is different this time?
What's different this time is that there are many more people getting involved. In previous years, you'd have one or two voices or standing up, leading a movement. But now more and more voices are being added to it. More and more people are calling for change. And it's really putting the pressure on these companies and for legislators to alter the way that they see Black lives, alter the way that they legislate them.
Part of the change is, as you mentioned, how we're seeing brands, mainstream brands, institutions that I've certainly never seen comment on any issues are now speaking up. Alexis Ohanian stepping down from the board of Reddit to make room for a Black candidate is another example. How much of it do you think, though, is authentic and lasting?
Well, it was very jarring to me, honestly, to see so many companies saying Black Lives Matter, posting and donating. I try to look past and see, okay, beyond the donations, what's going to happen after this? What kind of lasting change are you going to make? And for Alexis of Reddit to take that stand and to say, okay, I want my replacement to be a Black person, to bring that perspective to the board. It's those lasting changes that are really going to make the difference. I think Black people are very smart, and that a lot of corporations, brands don't recognize that. We can see through when you're being genuine or not. One of my favorite things to follow right now on Twitter is this you tweets, this you ? Because it's when companies say, oh, Black Lives Matter, they've always mattered to us. People are responding and saying, wait, wasn't this you who fired Black employees, or wasn't this you who stood up for police that in a way that negatively affected Black people? So they're being fact-checked in real time. And that's just the best thing about social media, is that you can hold these companies accountable in real time.
Mark, how much do you think the fact that we're all in this pandemic, but the back-to-back incidents, Breonna Taylor, Ahmaud Arbery, George Floyd, factored into the power with which things are unfolding right now.
That's right. People have been sequestered in their homes, and it's one thing to watch on the TV and social media, but now people are saying, I can't stay silent. I can't stay in my home. And after having to be alone with your thoughts for so long, that these police shootings, the police brutality is not something new, that people were like, okay, now this is my time to step out. Thankfully, a lot of people are wearing masks. People are out there protecting themselves as much as possible. But it's really the brutality that we're seeing from police forces that's the bigger threat. It's the most direct threat that we're seeing right now.
Do you think we could have come to this point without social media?
No, I don't think so. We could not have come to this point because social media enables people to gather very quickly, to come together around causes, to be able to share and to donate and to have conversations in real time with people all around the globe. And the Black Lives Matter protests aren't just happening within the United States. They're happening in Korea, in Paris. And to see that happen inspires more people to join the conversation. So I'd like to see that trajectory continue.
And it's not a hashtag, it's actually a powerful civil rights tool now. What does that mean to you personally?
It means a lot to me personally because I went to a majority Black high school. I went to a historically Black college for undergrad, and always being taught that Black is beautiful. I should be proud to be Black, learning about my history and my ancestors, the people who are out marching and protesting and had fire hoses turned on them and dogs unleashed on them. And to see that sort of playing out in a different way and now being able to see it live, I think we have to learn from our past, but also think about how can we take the tools that we have right now, the chants, the social media, the phone calls, the GoFundMes, all of these tools that we have to take the protest and to the next level to really hold people accountable.
Barack Obama said this week, protests are powerful, but so is voting. Do you think we'll see what is happening right now translate to the ballot box? Do you think the momentum will actually bring systemic change?
I've heard from a lot of people who are first-time voters who are like, this, seeing what's going out there in the world, I need to be able to make a difference. I think a lot of people who don't vote have said, my voice doesn't make a difference, but inaction is an action, and people are recognizing that. So they are using their voices not only with protests, but also voting and finding out how they can make a change, not only on the national level, but also on the local level. We're now holding mayors and police chiefs accountable as well. All those people are on the ballot box. So it's very important that people figure out who they want to support in this next election.
Mark Lucky in Atlanta. Thanks so much, Mark.
Thank you.